All right, everybody. Working here today on my 1989 Dodge D100 short bed with a 3.9 V6 in it. Bought the truck for $300, not even 2 miles from my house. One owner. Guy bought it brand new in '89. Sat for a while. When I first got it, wouldn't crank, wouldn't click any of the relays. Got it home, discovered that actually it needed a starter relay, so popped the starter relay in it, primed the fuel pump, but wasn't bringing up any fuel. So put a filter on it, checked everything, just wasn't bringing fuel out of the tank. Wasn't even like it just wasn't bringing it up to the throttle body. So we pulled the tank last night, and this is what we found. It was just kind of sitting in there. The bed was actually resting on top of this rollover. So when you let it go, it just kind of does that because the whole unit is modulated and it's spring loaded. So we're gonna dive in and see what we can find. All right, this is actually what the fuel pump module looks like inside the tank. There's the tank. Looks like it's got a little kind of like placeholder in there. So, I mean, it looks like the only thing that's holding this thing on from the factory is kind of like a big hose clamp. Really, it just sits down over there, I guess, and fastens across the top of this. But now that we've got this out, we can look at it. The reason I'm making this video is when I went to try to figure out and diagnose this problem, kind of do a DIY on the internet, really couldn't find anything on removing the tank and diagnosing it. So I decided to make this video. Here we've got what looks like the pickup down here, all plugged full of shit. So it's got a little gasket. I don't know whether you guys can see that or not. That's all ate up. So we're going to try to do that. The return, it looks like, comes down. I guess this is the return, part of what makes the spring, because then it comes down and dumps out down here. You've got your sending unit for the fuel gauge. And yeah, so it doesn't look like any of these hoses in here that run from the pump up to the return are rotted or anything, so I'm not really sure why it wasn't picking up fuel, other than maybe this dirt we've got down here where it could have just been spewing it out of that hole. So we're going to take this inside. I've got a little shop over here. We're going to take this inside and kind of break it apart and with some better light and take a look at what all is going on with it. Alright guys, we're back here in the shop now. Looking this thing over, there doesn't really appear to be anything physically wrong with it. As far as hoses go, we probably won't replace any of those unless we take this thing apart and see some cracks or something. But I actually found out through doing some research online that these trucks, no matter whether they came with a 3.9 V6 or a 5.2 318 V8, from what I can see on the internet trying to buy secondhand pumps, it's a 255 liter pump, which is actually pretty good. I've got a 2005 Ford Crown Vic, and it only has like a 190 in it, so it's pretty stout to power a 6-cylinder. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments, but so we're going to go ahead and start disassembling it and see what we can find out. I realize I've got kind of a shitty phone camera thing going on, so I'm going to try to splice in some pictures, some up-close shots of all this stuff as I take it apart. That way, in case you're not catching it in the video, you can see it. Alright, I started to take this apart, and I got the sending unit, the fuel level sensor off. And I'm kind of looking at this, and based off the fact that you'll see in the pictures, there really doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the lines or the wiring. There was that little bit of debris right there at the pickup tube, but I mean, I don't see anything wrong. It more or less, I think that this thing belongs seated down in the tank in that little pedestal that I showed you guys earlier in the video. And it had popped up out of there, and I probably only put like 1 or 2 gallons in the thing. So if I topped it off, you know, this might have, the truck might have ran on its own. I bottle fed it and drove it around a little bit. The throttle body injection will still run like that. So after looking it over some more, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen a hold down like this. I'm used to the style where you have to put like a flat blade or a punch on it and hammer it around to take it off. This band, almost kind of hose clampy deal, I'm not familiar with, but I don't think it should be in 2 pieces. I think that should be something that you should be able to loosen, pick the fuel sending unit up out, put it back down in, and tighten it down. So I'm going to try to find this piece online, see if maybe AutoZone or Advanced will probably sell it. I'll probably wind up having to go to Napa. The local parts store around here really doesn't carry shit like that. So we'll see what's up. And I mean, really, if I see this and this is in one piece in the pictures, I'll probably just buy this, buy new fuel injection hose for the fuel and the return. I mean, that was just a vent tube. It was already cut. So I'll probably just leave it cut because that's how I do shit. And we'll go from there. We'll throw the tank back up in and put 5 or 10 gallons of gas in and see what happens. And we'll go from there. I'll keep you guys updated. All right, guys. So I figured it out, and that that clamp for the sending unit actually is supposed to be in one piece, so that's what's broke. We're going to need to replace that. I think that really if we replace that and pop the sending unit back down in, tighten everything down, put new fuel injection hose on it and everything, that the truck's going to run. I think what happened was, with it being popped up like that, it wasn't sitting down in the pedestal in the tank like it's supposed to suck fuel. And when I got the truck, I didn't want to put a bunch of gas in it, it being an old truck, if there was a fuel pump issue or something like that. So I only put about 1 or 2 gallons in. And with it being set up above the pedestal like that, it probably just wasn't sucking fuel, and that's why it wasn't starting. So we're gonna get that clamp ordered. I found it on LMC Truck. Was really the only place I could find it. AutoZone and Advanced and stuff like that doesn't carry things like that because they're kind of specialty. So we're gonna get that ordered tomorrow. LMC Truck, get it here, assemble it, new hoses, plop it back down in, and hopefully it'll run. We'll take it for a spin. There you go. I'll keep you updated. Thanks.